When most people hear the name Jake Paul, they think of the loud, brash, always center stage fighter who built a career off controversy, knockouts, and calling people out. For years, he's been the headline, the main event, the one grabbing all the attention in every room he walks into. But this Olympic season, something very different happened. For once, Jake Paul wasn't the star of the show. He wasn't in the ring, he wasn't selling a fight, and he wasn't the one the cameras came to see. Instead, he was in the background, sitting in the stands of the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics, watching someone else step fully into the spotlight, his fiancée, Jutta Leerdam. And that shift has changed a lot more than people expected. Jutta Leerdam didn't just show up at the Winter Games as Jake Paul's girlfriend or Jake Paul's fiancée. She arrived as a serious Dutch speed skater and left as an Olympic champion. In Milan and Cortina, she delivered the kind of performance that defines a career, winning not one but two medals, a gold and a silver. 2 Olympic podium finishes as single games is elite territory. That alone is enough to permanently change how the sports world talks about her. For a long time, especially outside of Europe and the speed skating community, Jutta was known to many casual followers as the athlete dating Jake Paul. That label has now been completely flipped. With that gold medal around her neck, she's no longer being introduced as is anything. She's the Olympic star, the Dutch speed skating champion, the woman who brought home gold in Milano Cortina. The results spoke of themselves, and the world finally adjusted. One of the most striking moments of the entire Olympics didn't actually happen on the ice. It happened in the stands. After Leerdam clinched her gold medal, cameras caught Jake Paul visibly emotional, not hyped in his usual way, not pounding his chest or playing to the crowd, but genuinely overwhelmed, eyes glassy, clearly moved by what he just watched her do. That clip spread quickly across social media because it didn't look like the version of Jake Paul people are used to seeing. This is someone who built his boxing persona on hostility, bravado, and confrontation. He's the guy who gets under opponent's skin, who leans into drama at press conferences, who has no problem playing the villain if it sells a fight. Seeing that same person sitting quietly in the stands, tearing up over his fiancée's Olympic victory, revealed a completely different side. It wasn't an act built for promotion, it was a reaction, and that's why it connected. Throughout the Olympic season, it was clear this wasn't a one-off appearance. Paul didn't just jet in for one race, show his face to the cameras, and leave. He spent weeks in Italy, following Leerdam's schedule, attending her events, and staying close as she competed across different distances in Cortina. In a world where so many high-profile couples carefully stage what the public sees, this felt genuinely consistent. He was there as support, not as the main attraction. That consistency matters, especially considering the public dynamic they've dealt with. Before these games, no matter how established Jutta already was in speed skating, a lot of mainstream coverage would frame her first as Jake Paul's fiancée and only second as an athlete in her own right. It's a pattern you often see with famous couples, especially when one partner is more globally known than the other. But when you win gold and silver at the Winter Olympics, that framing just doesn't fit anymore. The hierarchy shifted. The medals demanded it. Jake Paul recognized that shift himself and leaned straight into it. After Leerdam's medal run, he made it clear that he's perfectly happy being introduced as Jutta Leerdam's fiancée. At first glance, that might sound like a playful line, a cute reversal meant to get some headlines. But if you look closer at everything around it, it lines up with a larger change in how he's choosing to present himself. For years, his public identity had been rooted in hypermasculine energy, the fighter, the alpha, the one in control. Now, in this Olympic moment, he's stepping into a more supportive role and actually saying it out loud. He's not just okay with Leerdam being the bigger deal in this situation. He's actively branding himself through her achievement. That's not something you'd expect from the older version of Jake Paul people got used to in boxing press conferences. Of course, the lifestyle around them hasn't suddenly become low-key. They didn't leave Italy on a budget airline or quietly slip away through a back exit. The couple was seen flying out on a private jet, surrounded by luxury items and maintaining the same high profile, influencer meets athlete image that has followed Jake Paul for years. Designer bags, tailored outfits, the familiar look of money and status. All of that is still present. But what changed during these games was not the level of luxury. It was the focus. This time, the narrative wasn't built around Jake Paul training for another boxing match or stirring up noise on social media. It wasn't him trying to dominate the cameras or force another viral call-out. Instead, the central figure was a Dutch Olympic speed skater standing on the podium, listening to her national anthem, holding a gold medal. And Jake was, for once, comfortably positioned in the background of someone else's glory. In the world of sports and entertainment, that kind of recalibration is not accidental. Public image is as carefully managed as any training camp. Jake Paul has always been savvy about attention. He knows how to get it, how to twist it, and how to redirect it when it suits him. By visibly embracing the role of supportive fiancé to an Olympic champion, he's doing something that helps both of them. For Jutta Leerdam, this Olympics officially cements her as a global figure in her own right. Within speed skating, she was already a top name. Now, with 2 medals, including gold at Milano Cortina, she's at a level where casual Olympic fans recognize her face, know her name, and associate her with excellence on the ice. Headlines now say Olympic champion Jutta Leerdam first. That's a permanent upgrade in status. For Jake, standing beside and slightly behind, someone in that position softens his own public image in a strategic way. Instead of just being the loud disruptor in boxing, he becomes a fiancé who shows up, supports, and is unafraid to show emotion when the woman he loves achieves something historic. For a guy often criticized as one-dimensional in his public persona, that extra layer makes him more interesting and arguably more relatable. There's also a bigger cultural angle here. For years, we've seen plenty of coverage where successful women in sports or entertainment are primarily described to the lens of who they're dating or married to, especially if the man is already famous. This Olympics flipped that script in a very public way. Now you've got a situation where Jake Paul, one of the most recognizable internet and boxing personalities of the last decade, is openly framing himself as Jutta Leerdam's fiancé. That reversal resonates beyond just their relationship. It sends a subtle message about how fame and gender roles are changing. It shows that a high-profile man can stand beside a woman whose achievements eclipse his in a particular arena, and instead of feeling threatened, he can proudly lean into it. At the end of the day, none of this works if Jutta doesn't perform. This entire shift rests on the fact that she went out on Olympic ice and delivered 2 medals, one of them gold. Under the pressure of the Winter Games, with all eyes on her, she executed. That gave her the power to redefine how people talk about her. The spotlight wasn't handed to her because of who she's dating. She took it by winning. Jake Paul's choice, consciously or not, was to match that moment by adjusting his role. Rather than fighting it, he embraced it. He didn't try to overshadow her at the rink. He didn't try to steal the narrative by making it about his own training or his next opponent. He sat in the stands. He watched. He cheered. He got emotional. He let the cameras show him not as the main character, but as someone genuinely proud of the person he's with. For a boxer and internet personality who built a career out of always being the loudest voice in the room, that's a significant shift. It doesn't mean Jake Paul is suddenly a completely different person. He's still a showman. He's still flying private, still living in that flashy, high-visibility world of social media, boxing events, and celebrity appearances. But this Olympic chapter showed that he's willing, at least in moments that matter, to step out of center and let someone else take control of the stage. And strategically, that might be one of the smartest moves he's made outside the ring. Because in the end, this wasn't about Jake Paul's record or his next opponent or his latest viral stunt. This was about Jutta Leerdam becoming an Olympic champion, about Dutch fans celebrating a gold medalist, and about the sports world getting used to saying her name first. The boxer stepped back, the gold took center stage, and both of them walked away stronger in the public eye. So now the question is how this dynamic evolves from here. Does Jake continue leaning into the supportive partner role when she competes in future world championships or the next Winter Olympics? Does this more layered, less aggressively self-centered version of Jake Paul become a regular part of how he presents himself? Or was this a unique moment tied specifically to the magnitude of the Olympic stage? Either way, what just happened in Milano Cortina is clear. The Winter Olympics didn't just add medals to Jutta Leerdam's collection. They reshaped a public relationship dynamic that a lot of people thought was fixed. She is no longer Jake Paul's fiancée who skates. She is an Olympic gold medalist, and he is Jutta Leerdam's fiancé, and he seems just fine with that. Let me know what you think about this shift.